स्वदासीषु यशोदानन्दगिहिनी करमान्तरनियुक्तासु निर्ममन्था स्वयं दधि यानि हा गीतानि तद्बालचरितानि च दधि निर्मन्थने काले स्मरन्ति तान्यगायत. One day, Mother Yashoda was churning yogurt or curd for Śrī Kṛṣṇa. There was no shortage of servants in her home, but she chose to do all the tasks related to Śrī Kṛṣṇa herself. While churning, she was remembering the childish activities of Krishna, and in her own way, she composed songs and enjoyed singing to herself about all those activities. After churning curd for some time, she became tired. The garland of jasmines woven in her long braid loosened, and the fragrant flowers spilled on the ground all around her. It was then that Bhagavan woke up from his yoga nidra and reached her side. Anytime you looked, little Krishna would be fleeting about from here to there and there to here. Little Krishna loved drinking his mother's milk. Taking hold of the churning rod, he stopped his mother from churning and happily climbed into her lap. Seeing this, Mother Yashoda was overcome with love and began feeding milk to her beloved child. But something unexpected happened then. The milk that was boiling on the stove in the kitchen was about to overflow. Little Krishna had not yet finished to drink his mother's milk when Mother Yashoda's attention became diverted to the milk on the stove. She hurriedly placed him on the ground and ran to save the boiling milk. Bhagavan thought, "Here I am, and you left me to go save that milk?" Sri Shukadeva ji said, "Sanjata kopaha." Śrī Kṛṣṇa became angry and his teeth bit into his beautiful red lips. Sfuritarunadharam samdashya dadbhir dadhimantha bhajanam. He broke the nearby pot that was filled with curd. Bhitva mṛshashruhu. And then he began shedding false tears. A great saint has made a beautiful interpretation here. He said that the milk started boiling over because the milk also wanted to attain Bhagavan, to be placed in his mouth, and this opportunity seemed not to be coming anytime soon, so it thought it would commit suicide by boiling over. And so it began to rush over the brim and then into the fire. Just at that time, Mother Yashoda reached it and saved it. The milk then felt very sorry and thought, "How foolish I am! I only thought about myself. Because of my suicide attempt, Bhagavan's drinking of his mother's milk was left incomplete." So thinking thus, the milk settled down. but by then the scene had already been disturbed.
सञ्जातकोपः स्फुरितारुणाधरं सन्दश्य दद्भिर्दधिमन्थभाजनम् भीत्वा मृषाश्रूर्दृशदश्मनार्हो जघास गवमन्तरं गतः. When Yashoda ji went to save the milk, Śrī Kṛṣṇa finished breaking whatever he wanted. He then climbed on top of a overturned mortar and removed some leftover butter from a nearby pot. There were countless pots like this everywhere in Mother Yashoda's home. There were also always many visiting monkeys. So there Śrī Kṛṣṇa sat atop a mortar feeding monkeys butter, his eyes darting behind him from time to time to check if his mother was returning. And when she returned, she saw the broken pots and understood everything. She was not worried about the pots, but was wondering to where her baby had disappeared. When she looked around, she found her Maharaja sitting comfortably on top of a mortar, and she eyed him firmly and thought, "Today I will have to catch you and tie you up. You really have become far too mischievous." Just as Śrī Kṛṣṇa saw his mother coming with arms extended to catch hold of him, he ran away in fright. How amazing it is! He, whom even death fears to flee from, was running away, frightened of his mother. तायष्टिं प्रसमीक्ष्य सत्वरस्ततो वरुह्यापससारभीतवत् गोप्यन्वधावन् यमाप योगिनं क्षमं प्रवेष्टुं तपसेरितं मनः. Shukadeva ji said, "The Lord, whom sages and seers are unable to grasp in deep meditation, even after countless years of austerities, is the one Mother Yashoda ran after to try to catch." Bhagavan was running ahead of her and she was running behind him. But all the while, he kept eluding her grasp. However, when he saw how exhausted his mother had become, he felt he should not tire her any further, and overflowing with love and compassion, in that very instant, Bhagavan allowed himself to be caught. कृतागसं तं प्ररोदन्तम् अक्षिणीकषन्तामञ्जन्मषिणी स्वपाणिना उद्वीक्षमाणं भयविह्वलेक्षणं हस्ते गृहीत्वाभिशयन्त्यवागुरात्.
When Śrī Kṛṣṇa was finally caught by Mother Yashoda, he became more and more afraid and admitted to being an offender. As she looked upon him, she saw that Krishna was crying, and his tears mixing with the black ointment around his eyes. And as he rubbed his eyes with his hands, he smeared the ointment, that is kajal, all over the face. Mother Yashoda was panting heavily when she finally got her hands on him, and she began scolding him immediately, saying, "Today I am surely going to tie you with this mortar. This mortar is a fiend, and you have become wicked just like this. Mischievous miscreants always stick together. So now I will make sure you both also stick together."
न चान्तर्ना बहिर्यस्या न पूर्वं नापि चापरं पूर्वापरं बहिश्चान्तर्जगतो यो जगच्चयः. Shukadeva ji said, to bind he who is the beginning and end of the world, who himself has become the world, whose beginning, middle, end, inside, outside cannot even be gauged. Na cha antar, na vahiryasya, na purva, na picha aparam. Cannot be gauged. And then too, with a mere rope. Yet the Lord acceded, as if saying, very well, please mother, tie me up. Yashoda ji brought a long rope to tie him to the mortar. But each time she tried to tie him, she found the rope to be 2 fingers too short. Wondrous thing. During his Vamana avatar, the Lord had assumed a colossal size. But here, he had not become bigger or smaller. He remained the same little Krishna as he was. But the rope was just 2 fingers too short. Mother Yashoda went and found another piece of rope and tied it to the first one. Still, even the joined rope was 2 fingers too short. She just could not understand what is happening. She wondered. This boy has not become older, not become fatter. He had not changed in the list. So how could this rope fall short every time? But now she was adamant. She resolved, today itself, no matter how, I am going to get you tied up. Mother and son were both at odds, vying with each other. Looking at Mother Yashoda, Bhagavan thought, you cannot bind me. You are holding on to the conditioning of duality, Dvaita, and therefore the rope is exactly 2 fingers short. You have to first drop the sense of duality, the I-ness and minus, and then only it is possible. Shukadeva Maharaja said, when Bhagavan saw how tired his mother had become, out of compassion, allowed himself to be bound. Otherwise, is it ever possible for Bhagavan to come into bondage? Can anyone ever bind him?
Evam sandarshita hyanga harina vrityavashyata.
Shukadeva ji said, by showering such compassion, Bhagavan shows just how bhakta paradhina, how much under the control of his devotees he is. Drishtva parishramam Krishna kripaya set svabandhane. Just before the Mahabharata war, when Śrī Kṛṣṇa had gone to Hastinapura as a messenger of peace, Duryodhana had tried to have him bound. Bhagavan had then revealed his cosmic form to show that he could not be tied ever. And this same Bhagavan allowed Mother Yashoda to tie him to a mortar. When bound by love, Bhagavan is ready to do anything. However, if someone tries to be overly smart or cunning, then also Bhagavan knows how to play the game. So, Bhagavan Śrī Kṛṣṇa was now tied. On seeing this, a pleased Mother Yashoda said, "Very good, now stay tied up here while I go and work in some peace and quietude." Little Krishna said, "Fine, go." And so she left.
Nearby were two Arjuna trees, Yamal Arjuna, twin Arjuna trees. Nala Kubera and Manigriva were the sons of Lord Kubera, the Lord of Wealth. They had been turned into trees because of Narada Muni's curse. They became intoxicated by excessive wealth and wine, and the compassionate sage Narada cursed them out of compassion. He said to them that you people get drunk and perform actions of utter dullness and inertia. So go and become inert. When you both are touched by the Lord, you will attain moksha. The two brothers, therefore, turned into trees. Now the Lord wanted to redeem these sons of Kubera who now stood as trees. And more importantly, however, he wanted to ensure that the words of his devotee held true. Since Narada Muni had showered his compassion on them and cursed them, Lord wanted to ensure that Naradaji's words came true. So Bhagavan Śrī Kṛṣṇa began crawling between the two trees. He got through just fine, but the motor dragging behind him got stuck between the trees. When Bhagavan pulled the motor toward him, the two trees were instantly uprooted. They fell to the ground with a thunderous crash, and from them emerged two beings of light, Nalakubera and Manigriva. The sons of Kubera prayed to Lord Krishna and sang his praises. They said, "We committed a grave wrong, O Lord, but you have saved us. We now pray to you to grant us only this." Krishna Krishna Mahayogim Swamedhya Purusha Paraha Vyakta Vyaktamidam Vishwam Rupam Te Brahmana Viduhu. Namah Parama Kalyana Namah Parama Mangala Vasudevaya Shantaya Yadunam Pataye Namaha. Anujanihi Bhumam Swavanuchara Kinkarau Darshanam Nau Bhagavata Risherasidhanugrahat. Vani Gunanukathane Shravano Kathayam Hastau Cha Karmasu Manastava Padayornaha Smrityam Shirastava Nivasa Jagat Praname Drushti Satam Darshan जननिस्तु भवत्तनूनाम्.
So they said, may our speech always sing your glories. May our ears always hear your stories. May our hands always serve you. May our minds always be absorbed in your lotus feet. May our heads always be bowed to the whole universe. Shirastava Nivasa Jagat Praname, which is your abode. May we be blessed to behold great saints. We ask you only for this boon, O Lord. The Lord fulfilled their wish and said, Tathastu. May it be so. Your mind will remain absorbed in me forever and ever. On hearing the ear-splitting sound from the fallen trees, Nanda Baba and other gopas who were nearby came running. They could not comprehend how such huge, strong trees had become completely uprooted. They saw little Krishna from a distance, tied with a mortar. When they asked him what had happened, the little children who were always around him said, Krishna was pulling this mortar behind him, and when he went through the two trees, the mortar got stuck in between, and when he pulled on it, the trees fell. All the elders laughed and said, You children always say the most ridiculous things. How could this tiny tot have pulled such a huge and heavy mortar all the way here? Shukadevaji said they did not believe the children at all, but were very happy just to know that their Krishna was safe. They wondered why one adversity after another was befalling this little boy since his birth. They wondered what kind of special child this was. So Bhagavan Śrī Kṛṣṇa was growing up in Gokula with continuous adventures.
Hare Krishna,